try.
Okay.
No more chances.
No more chances.
Got it.
Here we go. All right, welcome back. It is us again. Brady had to do a live thing last week because of issues with the internet, but we are here again.
We're going to talk about strongholds in the mind. Actually, we're going to continue to talk about it. I've been talking about this for about 3 weeks now, and we're just scratching the surface on how it affects you. Last week we talked about the stronghold of the world. In other words, outside influences coming in and how it affects us. Where you were born, type of family you have, everything. Those things affect us. The type of church you went to, your understanding of Christianity, all that stuff affects who we are. And today there's so much pressure to conform to the things around us. And right now, if you disagree with certain ideologies and things people believe, you get really angry. People get angry at you. And we're more divided now than we ever were. So that's a stronghold of the world. It tries to create a self-image that if I act a certain way, dress a certain way, I'll be more accepted than anything else. Another stronghold in the mind has to do with the devil himself. The devil also desires to influence the world. He influences our past, and he influences the relationships we have in order to change who we are, in order to attack us. For example, you look at the marriage, marriage is the divorce rate. It's pretty high, about 50%. So 1 out of 2 people get divorced. And then there's, a lot of people, that's probably higher if you count all those people that live together and never get married and then they split up. Percentage is pretty high. In the church, it might be a little lower depending on what statistics you read. But we're not doing good when it comes to marriage. In some places in the world, they have arranged marriages. Like you arrange a marriage. I want to do one for JoLeah here, but she don't want to do that.
Wow.
Because I've gave up waiting for her. But that's just a little
Wow.
side. JoLeah is single, and she's...
Wow, this is not... Cut that. If Brady can edit that off, that would be great.
Sorry.
Moving on to strongholds.
I might have a stronghold in my mind. Anyway, the devil tries to tempt us. And the way he tempts us is suggest things. He tries to interfere with the Word of God. And he tries to capture you to do the devil's will. And our most vulnerable position is when we're born. We're born into a family. And many times families themselves have dysfunctions that come into it. And you've been around a while, you see if one family maybe suffers from alcoholism. That could be passed on to the kids and then right on down the line. We just met a guy that he was raised in a Christian family, but his grandfather was an alcoholic, his dad was an alcoholic, and this guy's in drugs. And it's because it's all passed on down. Now, we always look at the outward sin of something, like you're an alcoholic or you're into drugs, and we can judge people for that. But the reality is, why are they into that? What has happened to somebody that all of a sudden they turn to booze or they turn to drugs instead of turning to God? And a lot of it has to do with they don't know God well enough. They were never introduced to God. And they just think God's far off and distant. And that's all the devil's plan, to separate us from God. In the Garden of Eden, he attacked Eve. And he would whisper in her ear, so to speak, or talk to her. The serpent came up and talked. And she got deceived. Then Adam as well was deceived. So there's things we go through, and the devil's out there to attack us. And the best place for him to attack us obviously has to do with being born. You're born, and then your family affects you. If your family's dysfunctional, they don't love you the way you're supposed to be loved. Or if the father gets a divorce, or the mother they leave each other, and then you have a broken family. So in that time of the life, we become the most vulnerable because we're little. As I told you many times, I worked at a girls' ranch, and their parents would get a divorce, and then they would either go to a relative or end up in the foster care. And their question is, what did I do that was wrong that my mom and dad would get a divorce? Or why does my mom and dad love drugs or booze instead of me?
And then build a pattern in their mindsets that then affected other relationships.
Yeah, so then it goes on and on and on, but it all starts in the past. So what we're going to talk about is how the devil influences that. Influences the way we think, influences who we are.
And plants things that has happened to us in the past, and then plants lies according to the situations.
And I think that's the big one for what JoLeah just said. She says something good every once in a while, and that was good. He plants lies into your life. So we're going to end there. God bless you guys.
Thanks, you guys. Bye.